Hello everyone, long time, very long time. Much appreciation and gratitude for coming to this video and for watching this. Yeah, I just want to share some updates with you because it's been, last few months have been a really roller coaster and very life changing. Um, yeah, but what I would like to focus on is my experience at Vipassana, which was about 2 weeks ago, from I think the 23rd of January till February 2nd. Yeah, so it was a 10-day silent retreat, which was really a changing factor in my life. And I would love to share it with you because I feel it's done so much good for me and I want it to do good for everyone, including you. Yeah, basically, I started at it, I signed up for it in end of end of last year because um, just it was calling. Overall I've been urged to do it by my best friend Hattie. She she shared she went last year. She went in 2023 to serve, but she was actually doing a manager course that time, and I saw the great impact it had then. But I just thought my life was fine. I never had to go for it at all. But yeah, end of last year, many things happened, and I just signed up on a whim. I'm like, okay, if I get in, I'll go. If not, then it's okay. I was I think 11th on the waiting lists, and I was thinking, wow, okay, there's no chance of me getting in. So if I'm meant to go, then I'm really meant to go. And yeah, like I was surprised I was able to get in. It's a bit sad because I had to miss the vegan Indian festival, but I was thinking, yeah, this is more important for my life, and it'll be able to help. I'll be able to probably help people, animals, and environment more if I go to this. And because the other issues I had in my life before was that like a lack of discipline. I oftentimes started things and I never finished them. I also was really bad at meditating. I remember a few years before I could only meditate for 1 or 2 minutes. Staying still, being present was also a big issue of mine. I would always be thinking about the past, have depression, and thinking about the future, have anxiety, and just like back and forth. It wasn't good for me, and it wasn't good for others because I would make others around me unhappy and expect them to help me with my problems, and which would be just not fair. Everybody has so much going on in their own life, and always expecting me to always expecting them to help me all the time is not good. And I think I was becoming more and more of a burden. I feel just personally, others can say differently, but that's how I felt. And yeah, even if they would help me, they would, it would be like the most they could do is even I love them. The most they could do is help me with like the short term solution, but the long term is something that all me and all of us have to figure out, which I feel is what this course did for me. And so getting into this course, it's a technique which is shared and passed down by the Buddha, which is I think from over 2,500 years ago or around that much time. And yeah, it's amazing because it's been that long ago. It's been passed down, and everyone thinks that Buddha was maybe I thought that Buddha was like a god or other like a deity, but they were just simply a mortal who figured out a way of enlightenment and wanted to share it with others and share this technique. And they lived like a normal, not normal, like they lived a mortal life until the age of 80, and which shows you that you don't have to be tapping into any divine or godly powers to feel this. Basically, the teachings are more in line with how the universe works, the laws of the universe, and that's something that because I've always had like a struggle earlier. Like I really hated religion, and I would go against. I was more atheist in the past, now more agnostic, but this was really good timing because it was something that I could believe in, and it's also really inter-religion, interfaith because any religion can use this, and also people who are atheist, agnostic, other can also use this technique because it's so amazing and it doesn't require any sort of faith in God or not faith in anything. So it's like somewhere accessible for all. And yeah, I did it in Sao Paulo. I did this the Vipassana in Sao Paulo for 10 days. Um, Another thing was really hard is like not using the phone because we're so attached to our technology, laptop, phone, even talking to others. distractions, everything. So yeah, like I got there and I settled in. First few days were the hardest for sure. Was so used to not being. I mean, so not used to that because you're used to your normal life, talking with your friends, having a normal day, going out and about, and everything like that. But yeah, first few days that all that stops. It's a silent. They observe a noble silence where you don't talk to anybody, and that was also kind of tough. I wouldn't say I'm a really social person. I'm like kind of in the middle, but although I would say I'm more introverted in general. But even that, just like little talk here and there, I was used to. But you're supposed to maintain no talk and body language. I was sharing with two other roommates, and yeah, that was pretty interesting. We were able to communicate without talking, just like known things that who would close the door after, um, not to disturb each other and stuff like that. But otherwise, yeah, the first day 1 to 3 and 4 were, no, 4 got better, but day 1 to 3 were extremely hard because they started teaching us the technique called anapana, which is basically you observe breath and you just focus on this region on the body. And yeah, like we started meditating for like 1 or 2 hours at a time. It was incredibly hard for me. So many thoughts in the mind, and I couldn't. It was hard to keep my eyes shut sometimes also, and keep the same position. I would move every 5 seconds. I was moving, keep moving, and yeah, as these are the teachings of also the as in like Goenkaji, who had a great, who really was really established um, in Vipassana from the teachings of Buddha, and he was the one who was basically like he passed away I think 10 years ago, but he he had his recordings for the evening discourse, and throughout the meditation period in the meditation hall, we would listen to um, uh, his instructions and opening and closing remarks, which are in the language of Pali, which was the language spoken at that time, in like 2,500 years ago. Although there are many origins, I think the origins are in Sanskrit, so I was able to understand some of it, knowing some Hindi and Punjabi and Urdu. So that was really good. But he was saying, even in the first few days, you figure out what, how many defilements your brain has, and how chatty it is. Keeps saying all these things. Yeah, I remember those days was insane. I don't know how like so much stuff came up in the past, thinking about the future, and definitely wanted to run away on the first few days, but especially day 2 and also day 6 after. But yeah, I think because of this, many painful things come up because in this you're not supposed to think about, and like you don't think about about chanting any word or any deity or any god or anything in particular. You're supposed to just be silent and think about nothing, which is where you look inward and you go deep and you figure out other issues in yourself. That was the very hard part. Otherwise, I was used to like more guided meditation where think about things and more like manifestation and other, which I'm able to do. But being with yourself is like one of the hardest things, and it's like I think many people's fear to just be alone with their thoughts, which is what we like. I wouldn't say conquer, but we just focused on and stuck with. Um, so yeah, the first few days very tough. Yeah, learning Anapana, and I didn't know if I was doing it right. I was just like, well, just observe the breath, knows the breath in and out. I'm like, what the heck? What am I supposed to observe? I don't know. I don't know what I'm observing, but I think yeah, by day 4 when we learned, I think day 4 is when we learned Vipassana. When he said to observe the sensations across the body, that was I didn't know I would be able to do that, but it was very powerful to observe and focus because basically you train your brain onto being intentional, and you're able to focus on different parts of the body. Of course, it's not ideal because you at that time because you many tough and gross sensations come across on different parts, and you're supposed to be equanimous, be like not reacting to them and balanced. Even right now, for example, if I want to scratch my nose, I have a thought, but like now, learning that it will come and go, like feelings will come and pass, which is the law of impermanence. Something that Taddy told me about before. Even Michelle who was doing the workouts with us, she teach us about the law of impermanence, but I never really understood about it until then when I, because you see the deep, like you want to scratch your nose so badly, like in like so oftentimes I did, but then like you sit with it and you say, oh, this too will pass, and it does. And then it's amazing, because that's how life is, and that's what the teachings of Vipassana are, because it shows like you have a great sensation, great time, and that's amazing. But then that too will pass. But then you also have a terrible time. You feel awful, but then that too will pass. So it's kind of like staying level throughout it. For sure, you can appreciate and enjoy as much as you want, but the things are to not get attached and to not have hatred, because that's the cause of all suffering, main cause of all suffering, as well as ignorance. But you find a way to not be too on one side, and to stay level throughout it, to find peace and to find happiness. Because for sure we want to have all the amazing feelings. Oh, this feels amazing, this feels so good. And we want to avoid, oh, that feels awful. We don't want to have that in our life. But that's not the that's how we just keep reacting, and that's I found myself doing that a lot. But it's not sustainable, because then we just keep reacting, and we're not in control of our lives, and we're not in control of our bodies, and we're not able to get that peace which all of us deserve. I feel, even like no matter what we've done, for sure we can learn from our mistakes and not do them, and be apologetic and remorseful, but at the same time grow from that and have that peace, and then have that unconditional love for everyone. And yeah, it's not easy, because you have to like many of the things that we talked about, these three things, aversion slash attachment, then aversion slash hatred, then craving slash attachments, and ignorance are basically the three things that we're trying to avoid. But those are samkaras. Basically, what the teachings believes in is our past lives and current lives. We create, when we keep reacting to these things, we generate samkaras, and that ends up making our life worse, because then they go deep rooted, and like some are surface level, but some are very deep, and then they stick with us for the long time. So in this practice, when you meditate, you're able to, when you have the big sensation on your body that you don't like, but you don't react, and when you get the flow of the body, which is called free flow, which is when your whole body, you can see the subtle vibrations across the body. It's this pleasant sensation. But if you don't feel, oh, you don't overly react, wow, this feels amazing. When you don't do that, then the sankharas of hatred and attachments come out of your body. The ignorance one, I'm not completely sure still. I'm still learning about that. But it's basically like when you force yourself, oh, I want to feel throughout the body, but let's say one area you don't feel anything, then you stick with it for some time. And if nothing comes out, then it's okay. You go down and then you come back. But if you pretend like, oh, I have the sensation there, that's ignorance, and that's what many of us are guilty of. We have ignorance in our life, because we feel things, or we pretend things are when they aren't, and it's also something that should be focused on. But otherwise, yeah, that's basically the flow of Vipassana, and basically observing the sensation starting from the tip of your head to the bottom of your toes and back up, and observing it is how it is. If you don't feel it, originally it was tough because you didn't feel the sensations. Even when you don't do practice for some time, you don't feel it, but staying at a certain area until you feel the subtle vibration, and then going down, and then you might feel like a very huge vibration, and then stay with it, and then you go down. And when you're at another part of your body, you might feel another vibration somewhere else. But yeah, you still stick with it, and you go with your body. You don't go back there and react. You don't go back, you just understand. And also the pain from sitting on the ground for that long. It's insane for me, because I wasn't really flexible. Like, sure, I could touch my toes while keeping my knees straight. I wasn't really like the type that could sit for like a long time, but we learned a technique and a process called adatana, and basically you sit for 1 hour, and in whatever position that you want, and you don't move. You say, you tell your body, I'm gonna sit. I'm not gonna move my hands. I'm not gonna move my legs. I'm gonna sit, and I'm gonna observe this practice. And this is what teaches deep discipline, because you sit there for the whole time, you don't move, and in the end you emerge victorious, and you teach your body, wow, I can do this. And then slowly, other things in life, which might be difficult, you're able to accomplish them, because you have that deep discipline that this practice instills in you. Even now, I'm doing it. I don't do adatana every time, but I guess I should be still getting back into that. Like it's not mandatory. Even after the course ended, they didn't say you have to do aditana. They said you just do in the morning at 9 1 hour. But the days that I noticed, the day that I did aditana, those days end up being better. So I should probably get back into that practice. Um, and the days where I do the full 1 hour at night, those days end up being better for sure. You don't get impacted by other things. But otherwise, yeah. So we take and when you start the practice of the course, they say to take refuge in three. I take refuge in the Buddha, which is the enlightened one. I take refuge in Dhamma, which is the universe, the laws of the universe, and I take refuge in Sangha, which, if I remember correctly, it's like the Sangha. I think I'm probably gonna get it wrong, so I might put it in the caption again. But I think Sangha was someone who was able to um, also get enlightenment, or maybe it could also be the teacher or manager, and others. I'll correct myself if I do it wrong, and I'll put it in the caption or the comments. But yeah, basically you surrender to this technique, and because for sure I was very, like, I wasn't all into it in the beginning, but they're like, just surrender for it for 10 days and see how it is, and then you can decide if you wanna go with it or not. I'm like, okay, I have never really believed in much in the past. The only things that I guess I did believe in were like animal rights, veganism, and my music, but this way of life I never believed in it. But I'm like, okay, I'll let it go, and I'll stay with this for 10 days. And yeah, you really learn about the laws of the universe and how things, when we react in certain ways, they can be going against the universe or with the flow of the universe. Every evening we would have 1 hour of discourse where they recorded videos of Goenkaji, which was great. He said this shouldn't be your evening entertainment. In the beginning it was, but after, it was really good because it like really taught me about a lot about myself and how a lot about the world and others, even like even down to how I talk or send messages or act. It's all based on the motivation behind it is what really matters. Certain things I would say that maybe seemed nice on the surface, but when I looked into it deeply, they could be seen as, and they were, like, maybe very manipulative or very ill-willed, just trying to get things out of people, which was not good. And that's also something that was taught. He also talked about animal rights though, and he talked about how uh, all the meals over there were plant-based, were at least vegetarian and many vegan. And they had like plant-based milk options. The only thing that they didn't have, the alternatives were for plant-based cheese and plant-based yogurt and plant-based butter. Actually, I don't remember if there being cheese, but those two. But yeah, that's just something that we're hope to work on with Animal Save and Plant-Based Treaty to get the whole of Vipassana to go plant-based, because he talks about how causing harm to other beings is not in the flow of the universe. And he talks about, in the end of each meditation practice, may all beings be happy, may all beings be at peace. And we can't have that unless we're in a vegan world, which is great. Although that they removed meat from the menu, but they removed meat and eggs, and I don't think there was any honey. But dairy causes an intense and immense suffering to cows. So that would be inflow of Dhamma and inflow of Vipassana meditation. Otherwise, yes, it talks about even um, how we're working in certain areas, and for example, someone might be making money like on guns or on exploiting others. That's not in the of the universe. And then the karma is something that will come back to them. But karma is good and bad, and it's also based on our past life. So basically, whatever that we have in this life, we we can say, oh wow, I accomplished this, I'm so amazing. Or we can say, oh, my life sucks, I have all these things. You don't have to feel sorry for yourself, or you don't have to feel on top of the world. We can say balance out and say these are the deeds of our past lives and our current life, and we can be at peace with it and just try our best to improve. There's always a way. I think one course there's like 4 ways that people come to enlightenment or light. When you come from a dark place to a good place, when you come from, actually no, it's not ways to come to light. It's just ways to react or change. Like you can come from a dark place to a light, like to the light, which just teaches you peace. You can come from a place of dark and stay dark, which is like more ignorance, or not ignorance, more like just being more doubtful and hateful, and then a place from light to light and a place from dark to light, which I feel most of us come from, because sure, we all have light enough, we all have light in us, but we're all learning and growing in this process. And otherwise, yeah, like day 6, I also want to run away because I'm not sure what it was exactly at the time, but yeah, when I remember, I'll let you know. But yeah, so from all the days, then but day 8 is when I felt, after one meditation, I felt so at peace, so the most blissful I felt in my life. I wanted to forgive all my enemies, all my friends. I was so thankful to my parents, my family, my friends, and I was very remorseful. I'm like, I wish I could have gone back and done things differently. I'm very sad for the past, but also trying to forgive myself and say and now going forward, I will be the best I can and try to spread love and compassion to all, which was amazing. And then day 10, we broke the silence, and that was, everyone was talking so much. I had to take some time away, but then we learned a technique called metta, which is basically love and unconditional love for everyone. I learned a lot of the love I had before was very conditional. I would expect things from people, and I wouldn't be all. It wasn't all unconditional. But then you learned that may all beings. I truly understood throughout the 10 days more and more. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace. Because why would I want harm or ill feelings for others? And that was really, really powerful, because it's able to may I be pardoned for the harm and hurt I've caused to others. May others be pardoned for the harm and hurt they've caused to me. Yeah, may all beings share my merits. May all beings share my compassion. May all beings share this peace, this tranquility, this love. Yeah, it just made everything make so much sense. Like I would have feelings of anger or hatred towards people for things they did in the past, or the way that they are, even people not being aligned with animal rights or veganism and other things, maybe being more capitalist and exploitative. But just understanding where they're from and why they're conditioned that way was really, really powerful. And then how we can learn from that. And I'm here to, we're all here to show everyone how we can improve in a better way ahead. Instead of avoiding it, sit with it and be with them and then show them the way forward. It's not always the easiest. I'm still growing on that. I'm not saying I'm perfect on that and many things, but I'm definitely on the path now, which is really nice to say. And yeah, I'm for sure about other things that I'm not remembering right now, but I'll share more in the videos. But yeah, I'd say what a powerful experience Vipassana was. This taught me so much now. Whenever I need to, if I'm feeling too much one way or the other, I can always go back and meditate and then be at balance, be at peace. And also, just remember to observe my breath, because really observe your breath and sensations throughout. If ever circumstances come where I'm feeling too angry, or no, not too angry, just angry or too angry, or feeling attachments or too much attachments or too good, you can just enjoy them or not, and just be with yourself and not let it overtake you, not let it take over your life. Yeah, I can talk about this for a long time, but I don't want to keep the video too long. After Vipassana was really amazing, and they gave us many resources to keep with the practice. And also servitude, a deep sense of servitude was instilled, because I want others to also experience this amazing bliss and peace. So I would really encourage you to sign up for a Vipassana course. You can just search up Dhamma.org or Vipassana. I'll put the links in the bio. But yeah, 10 days. I know it might seem like a long time, 10 days silence, but in the long run, for your whole life, 10 days is like nothing. And you can just imagine how great it could help for your whole life. You just put in these 10 days, and then it can make your whole life so amazing. Just continuing to stick with the practice. Yeah, I highly recommend. Yeah, of course, also same time, hopefully to work with others like Taddy, Michelle, Julie, Agnes on getting the Vipassana practice to go fully vegan, which I feel, and we all feel, would align with the teachings of the Buddha and Dhamma, which would be amazing. Otherwise, for me, it was a good test to not have the aversion or hatred sensations or feelings whenever I was eating the dairy. But otherwise, yeah, the food was really awesome. That was also good, hard not to get attached to that, but also or crave it. But yeah, that was really great. And yeah, I'm so thankful to my manager. Um, his name is Wagner Gill. He was great, great manager. Teacher was also really good. But my manager, I really felt like I could come to him with any issues, and he really helped guide me throughout the process. And he had a really good understanding of Vipassana. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for that. I will share more after, but yeah, may all beings be happy. May all beings be at peace. May this video find you and hopefully encourage you to get into Vipassana and see how amazing it could be for your whole life. It's just take a chance. 10 days. I can talk from personal experience. I didn't really believe in it when I came in, but now I see the benefits it has. Now I can see myself life getting better. Like for example, now I'm doing yoga on a daily basis and being mindful and like I'm not like I can see like myself improving in so many different ways. I'm more intentional when I want to. Like I'm not like endlessly mindlessly scrolling on social media or getting depressed or sad all the time. And so I'm like I'm so thankful and grateful for this practice and for Taddy for for guiding me here and for being such an amazing person. She's so peaceful and tranquil, and I feel like even myself and many others myself, I was coming to her with so many of my problems, but now there's a technique and a way that I can solve my problems by myself without having the need or expectations from others, and which is amazing. So I would recommend this practice for you. And yeah, I'll share more after and more videos. Let's not make the video too long, but yeah, peace and happiness for all beings. Thank you so much.